Back to the Creative Life Chronicles, and thank you for joining me again on my YouTube journey. I'm Desikole, and if you're here, it means you've got something inside you that's ready to come out. I don't know if it's a book, a business, a painting, a dance, a whole new version of you, but here's the thing. You can't build your dream on top of your baggage. So today we're talking about ghosts. And no, I'm not talking about the ones that go boo. Although honestly, the ghosts we carry are way scarier than the ones that go boo. Anyway, these spooky ghosts that I'm talking about is the things that's inside you holding you back from being creative. Seriously, let me tell you about the Creative Life Journal. That's what I developed because I want to get out ghosts. The very first section is called the situation that's bothering you, which is another term for ghost. Listen, it can be present. The situation that's bothering you don't have to be from the past to still haunt you today. It can be anything that is bothering you. So before we can go on our creative journey, before we can come up with that amazing game plan, our vision, our thing that's going to make us heal, feel better, make money, do whatever, we want to deal with our ghost. And that's what I'm going to talk about here today. So thank you for tuning in. Stick with me and let's get to it, because this is the first step on our Creative Life Journal experiment. We're going to unhinge the mystery that's been haunting us. So let's talk about why we want to identify the ghost. That's what we have to do first. First, we have to identify the ghost, which, remember, it's the situation that's bothering you. The reason we have to confront this ghost and the reason we have to identify it is because we need to be accountable for the emotion it's creating inside of us. So I'm not a therapist. So I'm just a journal, obsessed person, creative, multi-passion, cluttered brain, busy bee, procrastinator who has came up with some kind of recipe to do more than one creative journey, more than one creative passion. I'm passionate about every creative lane that I have. But in order to have the passion and not just dip into these lanes and just throw things together, take part in it, but not really be there, not really dwell there creatively, I've had to uncover some ghosts that I was carrying. We have many of them, but we only can do one at a time, so it's okay. That's why there's power in journaling. So if you don't have the Creative Life Journal, you can use any old journal. Look, I've got 1,000 notebooks. You can take any scratched piece of paper and use. You can, this says next Tuesday. But listen, that lets you know. See, the Creative Life Journal questions your brain and asks you things to unclog your mind, unclutter your mind. But any journal is suffice and will work as long as we have a place to write. Scripting is powerful. We don't want to just choose our phone. So we want to exercise our brain by using the muscle we have between the brain and the pencil, the pen, the marker, the crayon, the painting, however you want to get it out through writing, scripting. That's our number one goal. So that's first and foremost. We're going to script it. We're going to write. We're going to unclutter our mind about ghosts, the situation that's bothering us. Then we're gonna deal with it, take accountability, rename it, reframe it, and then we'll move to the next step. So get ready, get your pen and your journal, and let's go. Okay. Even though we know that we are going to identify the situation that's bothering us, sometimes it's too overwhelming to pick one because there's so many. We have so many ghosts. We have ghosts in the basement, ghosts in the attic, ghosts in the closet, ghosts right in front of us, ghosts in the mirror, ghosts in the bathroom. How do we find which ghost to pick? Okay, this is different, y'all. This is not your average normal therapy. I structured this system after screenwriting. My favorite thing, I love writing movies. I write psychological thrillers. And if you've seen my little sneak peek on this channel, it says sneak peek. It's my indie film, Dog Belly, Misery Has a New Face. Anyway, that's my first indie film project that I wrote and produced, and is currently in production. And I'm sure I will update you soon on a release, but it is going into post-production in 2026. But let's get back to it. In choosing Ghost, before you embark on a creative journey, whether it's writing a book, painting a picture, you don't have to always go super deep, shadow work or whatever, but you do want to continue to chip off ghost from your closet. You want to detox. You want to get your creative muscle working. So I'm going to deal with a ghost that I was dealing with before I wrote my film, Dog Belly, Misery Has a New Face. I'm going to use that ghost to start my creative outline in my journal experiment so that I can guide you along the way. Now, I must warn you, my ghost is a little bit life challenging because mine is serious. It's not a little problem. It was a very scary, huge, life-changing thing for me that would definitely be a major creative block in anyone's world. So I picked the most challenging ghost to go on this journey with you through the workbook because that is the thing that I used to fuel me through the rest of the way. So are you ready to know what my ghost was? My ghost, which we're going to call it the situation that is bothering you. And I'm taking you back to the moment before I started my creative journey to get this film done. My ghost was my parents are getting older. My mother is really sick and I don't know how long she will be around. That was such a strong life thing, a strong thing to hold in my brain, because how can you be creative every day and stay motivated and focused with such a heavy burden of worry on your head? Because you know the moment that it happens, you got to deal with grief. So that's a whole nother journey. You have to we're going to grieve for the rest of our lives when we lose our parents. But for me, the fear of the moment it happens, and feeling that moment of it's so final, it's scary. You feel like you on this earth alone afterwards. It's so much and so heavy for you. Thank God that my mother prayers was working and I prayed and I'm covered. She taught me how to work on my relationship with Jesus and I stuck with it and it carried me through. He carried me through. But I want to say I had to identify that was a very heavy pain that I was carrying every day. So most of the time when we carry a pain as heavy as that, we don't want to do anything extra outside of survival because we're sad deep down. And when you go on your regular survival journey, which is going to work, paying bills, living life, you're drained because you used all your temporary, I'm gonna call it fake joy, because grief doesn't always have you in your true emotions, and you have fake joy. So you're going to work, you don't want to affect nobody and bring them down, so you're being happy, you're being pleasant, you're pretending to be supportive when you don't even know how you can be supportive because you're going through your own misery. And I've never been the type of person that want company. Subconsciously, hopefully I kept my subconscious good because I never wanted anyone else to suffer while I was. But how do I stay on the journey that my parents both knew that I was on before I lost them? How do I do this? How do I do it with joy? How do I laugh and keep going? Of course, Jesus. I know this now. I understand. I'm not saying try to figure things out without that, because that's the way. But how do I exercise my creative muscle with so much pain? This is the reason why journaling is very effective and it's so therapeutic. Is because even though you're sad, even though you're writing and it feels like fourth grade homework, I gotta write and journal, you're getting it out. Your subconscious is releasing letting it go. It peels off layers of pain instead of leaving it buried down in there. So I journaled. I wasn't doing the creative life journal yet, but I journaled, got my feelings out. I filled up about 2 journals the first 3 months after my mother had passed. I just kept writing my pain. I wrote letters to her. I wrote. I used to think like I can't wait to get home so I could just write and get it out. It felt so relief. It was just very, very, very much relief. Now, you can talk into your phone app journal as well and get it out. Talking, that's like going to therapy. Get it out. Get that pain out. I would cry, but I cried in private, and I was so hurt. And I was like, I don't know how to function. How do I felt fake every time I was smiling. So even though I didn't realize what the benefit of writing and journaling would do for me creatively, it was happening. Benefits was occurring. I did not involve myself in a grief therapy group right away. My cousin kept saying, listen, you got to go to grief therapy. You can't, it's going to be too much. I kind of feel like I distracted myself by, I went swimming, which is a healthy choice. And that helped. Oh my God, swimming is so therapeutic during your grief journey. But I went swimming and I journaled. When I tell you those 2 things together really helped me on a level that I didn't even understand it was helping me at the moment. I just knew that these were things that had power. I wrote letters to my mother. I wrote letters to God. I journaled how I was feeling. I just kept going with every day. The situation is bothering me. That situation is what we all have to go through. But I had to take accountability and say, hey, even though I know this is something that we have to go through in life, even though I know this is something that you never prepared for it, I still had to deal with the grief. So journaling was the best. And then I started practicing expressive writing, making sure that I journaled not just how my day was, but I journaled what I was feeling, whether it was right or wrong. I journaled what I was thinking, whether it was smart or not. I just made sure I journaled expressive writing. So in choosing the situation that is bothering me at that moment, it was knowing that I was going to lose my mother soon and I needed to prepare. Now, in this process that I'm saying today, it doesn't have to be that strong or deep of a ghost that you choose for the situation that's bothering you. You can choose a ghost such as, I want to paint my basement, but I don't feel the motivation or the creativity because every time I go in the basement, I have memories of when I slip and fell. Something like that can still be a ghost. But as long as you write it down and identify that, we've done some major work that we don't even realize that has power. Write down everything that you think, not everything like all your ghosts. I mean, with one situation that's bothering you, write it down, get it out. Once we've identified it, we can turn the page. It is that simple. That is how we're going to deal with the situation that is bothering us, because creativity affects your time management and goals. And once we are able to be more creative, we are able to address being a busy bee mindset. We're able to address a busy bee mindset and a procrastinator mindset. So the first foremost thing is going to help spark your creative energy. It's going to ignite it. So even though I was super sad, I knew that my parents had invested so much love and support, and they were my biggest cheerleaders into me. I must embark on this creative journey. I have to finish writing that script. I have to write that film. I have to go for it and believe that I can get funding and be an indie film producer and let my son direct. He needed to direct his first feature as well. So I felt like even though that was a situation that's bothering me, I'm going to use it for my creative muscle. I'm going to take thoughts and actions and connect them as if they're talking to me. So I wrote down why I was hurting and I wish they could have lived longer. Why couldn't the, sickness, illness just go away? Even though my mother fought a long fight, and I know she did. I watched her. We all watch our loved ones kind of suffer, and we don't want them to suffer. So we pray to keep them, out of pain. We want to see them in their new heavenly home. We can't see, we can't call heaven, we can't connect there. So, hey, guess what you can do? You can write, and you'll be surprised at how magical scripting becomes. But that's what I did. I wrote that deep, horrible feeling that I was carrying around every day because I was so focused on she's gone, she's gone, she's gone. So I just kept writing that in my journal. Not writing the word she gone, just writing what that made me feel like. And I carried it less. First, it was heavy. It was so heavy. I couldn't pass anything, any store we ever shopped at, any mall, just shopping was my mom's favorite thing. It was so heavy to just go through a regular day, my regular life. And I didn't realize how much pain I was in the moments. I knew I was hurting. I knew I was grieving. I knew this was normal. It's natural what we're going to go through in life. But I didn't know how to want things outside of survival. I didn't know how to still dream of your everything. To be honest, I lost the interest in so many things. I lost the interest in so much, y'all. It was crazy. And I didn't understand that that was what it was at the moment. But I had no desire for many things. And it was like, how can you be creative when you don't even desire to, you just like numb. You just like, your whole world is shook up because it's new to you. This new survival without them was so new to me. So this has been a powerful experiment for me through learning the power of journaling and understanding what it does to your subconscious. So I started later in life applying the screenwriting structure to journaling, because when you write a screenplay, you have to teach your character a life lesson in 2 hours, less than 2 hours. It takes us a lifetime to get the lesson. So I said, what if I applied the structure of writing a film to my own life and see how that takes me through, and I'll learn and gain from the moral argument and the battle and the challenges. And it'll actually help me through my journey, which is a lot like the Bible. Screenwriting is structured from the Bible, the cycle of life and the things people went through and overcame. I mean, it's an amazing. So this system is very, very powerful. And I believe that I'm going to see, but I really believe that the Creative Life Journal experiment will help many people. I don't know if it'll help you until you let me know, though, but I think it will help you. But I'm going to create a series. This is the first part of the series that takes you through each section of the journal, so you're not alone in the journey and you understand how to use it. So we on this channel can all eventually have the Creative Life Journal and do the experiment together and unclutter our mind, unclutter our brain. But that is a powerful tool in my experience that helped me through my creative journey. And it helped me in a way where I began to feel excited about creating. I was excited to write my book, excited to write the movie. I couldn't be creative enough. I had all this creative juice flowing because I had detoxed all the ghosts. Not all the ghosts, but I didn't realize it, but I was chipping away at ghosts. I would take one ghost at a time. You could take one ghost at a time and just write a letter and evict the ghost. You'll be surprised at what your subconscious will feel, how much relief you will have, because you, instead of burying it, you identified it. You took accountability for it. It's okay. You expressed it. It's out. So we just going to do one ghost right now. That's my ghost, is the grief from the loss of my parents. And I'm going to keep that ghost. I wrote it in green on this page, but I have another space available. I said, in case I needed another lane for something that's connected to that ghost. So say we have a ghost. The situation is bothering me. My parents are sick, not going to be around long. Another space is, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm going to live. It could be anything connected to that problem. Long as we get it out, long as we identified it. It's not that you have to resolve it in this moment. It's not for resolve here. It's just to identify it. It's just to name it. And then we'll move on to the next step called Who Am I? Because that's going to be your self-revelation. Because in each traumatic situation in our life, we have an identity shift. The pain, the trauma causes us to be someone else. Or not connected to our true selves. So the next step of who am I is going to help us understand our perception and thoughts that are occurring and flowing through our brain while we're dealing with the situation that is bothering us. So it's kind of like in a movie, before we see the hero go on his journey, sometimes we are introduced his ghost. What needs fixing in his life? What's holding him back? What is the thing that he can't let go of that is creating him to be stuck? We see that in a movie if you think about it. It could be bad financial management, time management, or bad relationships, an addiction, trauma, a real physical trauma. So we can have, traumas in different lanes, and you can have them all at once. Now, some movies will show 6 things that need fixing to the hero, and they'll show this in the first 15 minutes of the story. So sometimes the 6 things that need fixing include all lanes: mentally, physically, and spiritually. So we could see a person has mental clutter because his house is all over the place and junky, and everything is broke because he can't focus. But you see him trying to fix one thing, but he stops and he's distracted, so he needs to fix another. Then we see they may have a physical thing that needs fixing. He's going to the dentist, but he keeps telling the dentist, "No, I don't want that wisdom tooth pulled." That's another thing need fixing. 3, he could come out of the dental office and his car won't start. He needs an alternator. So now we know his car needs fixing. Then he comes back in the house and we see that his wife left him. His family don't talk to him because guess what? Spiritually, he's in spiritual warfare. So his faith needs fixing. He needs to do shadow work. He needs to dig within and say, see, what type of person am I being? Am I being a good father, husband, friend, neighbor? He needs to dig deep. That needs fixing. So most of the time we have so many lanes that need fixing, but getting out the one thing first, just chip off the first ghost, whatever one, that you want to pull out, because it's no right or wrong. Just get it out. It's bothering you. So say that before we see all these 6 things that need fixing before he goes on his journey, but there is something about to occur. But before we see what's about to occur, we learn, even though all these things need fixing, we learn what his desire is. So he has all these things that need fixing in life, but we see that he desires to win a tennis match. Now, knowing all these things are creatively blocking him. His house is cluttered, so he doesn't have all his tennis things organized. His mind is cluttered because he's being a bullhead and stubborn and not making his relationships better. He's not fixing them. So, but we know he desires to win a tennis match. So here we go with the catalyst occurs. He goes to the corner store and discovers there's a local tennis match coming to town, and the prize is $10,000. So now he has a new desire, because we know he desires to play tennis and get recognition for it. But now here comes a local match. He can apply for it. But guess what? Here he goes. He gets in a car accident, and now his leg is in a cast for 6 weeks. So he can't be in that tennis match. So here we go, seeing him on a journey of how will he handle this? How is this going to unfold? What else is going to get in his way? What allies will he get? Is he going to make it to his end goal? So this is kind of like how we're setting up our journal experiment to identify the things that are holding us back. So it's kind of like we're writing our own movie, but currently in it. It's all cool, guys. It's going to be fun. Just trust me. We're going to take this time and use this experiment to get where we're trying to go. And I believe in development. I love personal development. There's no right or wrong. Personal development helps us understand who we are. We get to know so many more lanes. And who said that we have to choose one thing in life and be that same thing for the rest of our life to the end? Like, if you're a bus driver, you don't have to only be a bus driver. You can be a bus driver, a singer, a painter, a janitor, author, all those at one time. You don't have to use one identity and feel like you've made your choice and you're stuck and you're that forever. So that's the most important thing that I want you to get from being a team member and of this creative fam, I want you to know that you can pursue many passion projects. You can do more than one thing. We have an identity shift with every lane, and it's okay as long as you strategically compartmentalize your problems. Because see, the problems are the things that get in the way, and that's what holds us back. So once we start identifying what the problems are and addressing them, instead of masking it and just moving fast in life and not dealing with it, that's when we have creative blocks. So that's the key. Hopefully you have written down the situation that's bothering you on your blank notebook paper, a journal that you have already, or anything. You can create a journal. If you don't have the Creative Life Journal, I know you'll leave you'll sign up below and I will get that to you. So let's make sure that we have our journal life in order, first of all. Then we can move forward. In the next episode, we're going to be talking about who am I? What identity is connected to us in this moment that we know the situation that's bothering us. So until then, stay creative, stay open, and stay motivated. We're going to create daily, and I'll see you in the next video.